Gotta get.
It's time for the Titan video.
Gotta get.
A review.
Gotta get.
It's time for
Now.
the Titan
Now.
video. A review.
Hey, Titans Ed here, back to do another video review. As you can see, I'm kind of changing up the format on how I do these reviews. Going to be doing this for a while just because I want to try to use the higher quality camera in the back of the phone rather than the lower quality one in the front. And this way I have I've got a little bit more optional controls with my camera in this way. So today, as you can see, we are reviewing Transformers Titans Return Hot Rod. Yes, I do have this one. I know I haven't technically reviewed, except for Alpha Trion, any of Wave 2, but I got this figure recently, and I really, really wanted to do the video review for this guy, because I absolutely love this figure. So, let's get right into it. This figure, in my opinion, next to the Masterpiece MP28, if I'm not mistaken, Hot Rod, is, I think, the closest thing to the 1986 movie Hot Rod we are going to get. I am incredibly curious of what Takara is going to do when they make the Japanese version of this figure, because I really want to see what they do with their paint scheme and the plastic colors. So, as you can see, it is the Hot Rod that we all know and love, with the pipes going from the back. You got the fin back here, the nice canopy up front, the flames. Really love the way this figure turned out, especially in its vehicle mode. If there was the one complaint about the classics and the Combiner Wars version, obviously, was it wasn't the 1986 movie version. So, speaking of which, well, before we do comparisons, I should show you the gun. I am not a fan of these guns. Well, I do like how it does combine together. Yeah, I'm not a real big fan of the way this gun looks. It obviously doesn't look like the original G1 Toys guns at all. So, I mean, it is like nothing similar about these. So yeah. Also, if you hear me sniffling a lot in this video review, I seem to have come down with some allergies recently. I don't know what, but I've been sneezing literally all day. So sorry if I sneeze or sniffle a lot on camera. I am not sure what's causing it for me. You know, it's the middle of, or it's the end of November here, and suddenly I'm getting allergies. Can't pull his Titan Master Pilot out here. Now, Hasbro, we need to have a conversation. This is just wrong. A totally gray Titan Master with its only color being on the head plate, or on the face plate for the head mode. Hasbro, do we never sit down and have a conversation about this? This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, just literally, not even a speck of paint on this figure. Some different color plastics would do it nice. You know, some red arms and red legs to break it up. Seriously, Hasbro, this is just obscene. But yes, he does have a pilot. He does sit in there relatively well. He also has two Titan Master pegs in the back to precariously place your pilot, your two extra Titan Masters on there. I don't know why any Titan Master will want to stay on there. Now, as you probably saw when I opened the cockpit, I had to physically bend the bonnet, the hood of the car forward, the front of the car forward, to get to it. I will give it this. It's incredibly close, and you definitely need fingernails to get in there. But one of the main problems of doing that is that you are going to slowly scratch away the paint that's on this clear translucent plastic. Again, it makes me curious what the Japanese are going to do differently if this is going to continue to be clear translucent plastic, will they make it solid plastic? Probably continue with the clear translucent, but so with that, just what I do is pop the connector joints in the elbows for vehicle mode to make it a little easier to get a finger in there and pop it open. So, but yeah. And before I get to comparisons, one more thing I need to talk about is the fin. Apparently the fin is made of literally black solid plastic. And it's painted yellow. That literally makes no sense to me, why it was painted yellow. But, okay. I think it would have been better, easier to mold it yellow than having to paint black plastic yellow, but okay. So let's do some comparisons. First, Generation 1. Got the Classics version. Well, surprisingly, while I still have this Classics version, I'm going to keep him because I do have the Protector armor, which makes him look like Rodimus Prime, unless, Fans Project suddenly announces next month they're going to be making Protector armor for this version to turn into Rodimus Prime. Then both might be getting sold pretty soon. And I have, in fact, two versions of the Combiner Wars Hot Rod. One that has repro labels, and the other that has the Shapeways, a Shapeways 3D printed fin in the back, which I think makes it look a little bit better. But yeah, now let me see. Let me bring the Classics and the G1 back in here. I want to show you something. This figure incorporates everything everything about every version of Hot Rod made so far, from the 1986 movie's design to the G1's fin design, including the support parts for the fin, to the Classics having a booster in the back. That little round piece in the back is just like this one. So that's pretty impressive that they've kind of incorporated concepts from all three versions of Hot Rod / Rodimus from the last almost 30 years. I'm very impressed. So, alright, gonna transition over. For you guys, it'll be a mere second, but I'm gonna stop the video here and transform it into robot mode so we can talk about robot mode. Be right back. And we're back. As you can see, I have him in his robot mode. Yeah, from now on, I'm probably going to be skipping the transformation process. I never really even showcased it on my video reviews to begin with, so. But we have him in his robot mode, and I absolutely love this robot mode, though it does have at least a couple of flaws. It's number one and pretty chief and obvious one right here. The shoulder pads, I think, are far too big. I don't think the shoulders should have been able to collapse in or something, because it just completely covers up the back fin. It can't raise above his shoulders like the G1 and the Classics version can. But, oh well. They can hold his guns. He is using 5mm pegs. I unfortunately have checked, and unfortunately, the Fans Project sidearm, which is basically a third-party version of, I can't remember the Target Master's name now. Unfortunately, can't really fit in his hand all that well, just due to the way he was built. The collar around, he has basically a big collar around his hand, and it can go in there. Well, I got it to go in there earlier. I don't think it's gonna fit at all. Yeah, it's not gonna work at all. It just can't go in there. I think just due to the fact that the handle's so small and the piece of plastic here is blocking part of it. So yeah, unfortunately. And like I said, those blasters just don't suit him. I wish they'd gone with his original design blasters, but oh well, what you gonna do? So, and the only other flaw I can think of, besides also not having his bottom parts of his legs painted black like the Cavalier boots he had in his G1 in the G1 movie, is because of that all gray Titan Master, his side head profile looks, well, ridiculous. For having a rounded head, he already looks a little ridiculous to begin with. But all the gray on the body like that, I really wish the head and the leg, or the arms and the legs were painted red to at least match it somewhat. Oh well, again, this is something I really want to see the Japanese version of this figure and what they do differently. Now, show some comparisons. Here we have him next to the Generation 1 version of Hot Rod, and wow, talk about night and day. This is why I really do like this figure despite some of its flaws. He looks a lot more like the movie than the G1 figure ever did. I do know also on my G1 figure I'm missing some of his leg stickers. They just peeled off due to the fact of the way he transforms. It's kind of unavoidable, but oh well. Have him with his Classics Rodimus. And again, I really do like the way this one looks over this one. I think the posability works a lot better. You know, the only thing this one does better that I think this one does is, one, he comes with his little, well, I can't get it out. The buzzsaw dish here, and you can attach the gun to his back to give him sort of a jetpack. But yeah, I really do love the way this figure looks compared to this one. And just because I can, my two little mini Hot Rods, Combiner Wars Hot Rods. I need to get better lighting if I'm going to start doing it this way. But yeah, overall, I think he's a fantastic figure, and definitely one that you should consider picking up if you're a Hot Rod fan. I think right now he has become my favorite deluxe of Combiner Wars. Or not Combiner, of Titan's Return. God. Too many subtitles. He's become my favorite of Titan's Return deluxes so far. And I know I said that about Blur, but man, this figure just hits it out of the park, in my opinion. So, if you can find him, I highly recommend him. So until next time, this is Titan's Head saying, I'll see you when I see you.